Dan.
We're here with Dominic Muren, TED Fellow, founder of Humble Factory, Humble Factor, and Joe Justice. Who else? Dominic, tell us about the latest on Humble Factory, your work on the ground.
So, what Humble Factory has been focused on doing, what Humble Factory has been focused on doing in the past year and a half, has been sort of an extension of its core mission, which is to develop materials, processes, and tools that enable small-scale makers around the world. And the around the world part is the sort of key thing. So we're looking to get, it is relatively easy for us, like Joe, in the affluent West, where we can get access to lots of cool tools and work with carbon fiber and do this kind of stuff. To make really revolutionary objects. But when you are in different circumstances, so even if you're in like Detroit, right, and you have sort of like a rundown infrastructure that's available but not really present, or if you're in Missouri, for example, you're in rural America, you're in depressed America, you're in the rural developing world, you're in giant cities, but you're in the slums of the giant cities in the developing world. There are lots of different contexts in which people can't make the things that they need to be able to make to really have a comfortable or even safe existence. And so the Humble Factory is working on tools and techniques and materials that will enable that. In the past year, I've been really, or I guess the Humble Factory is sort of obsessed with materials more than it is 3D printers and stuff, because it seems like people are working on 3D printers, right? But it's the materials that really get in the way, right? You got these great 3D printers, but they all run on ABS. They all run on stuff that Dow has to make for you instead of you being able to make yourself. And so what I've been working on most recently is a project called alchematter.org, which is still very much in the early sort of development phase, and we're going to hopefully have an alpha launch within maybe 2 or 3 months.
Alpha launch of a platform, web platform.
And so the idea is this is going to be the way to share open source designs from the ground to the object, right? So literally, you're going to be able to describe how to take dirt, how to take plants, how to take raw materials that you can get, and complicate them into a finished product through successive steps. And the coolest thing about it is it's going to be really built in a way that enables remixing, right? So the whole purpose of opening stuff, in my mind, is not that anybody can make the same thing, but that anybody can add their small amount of genius to a growing sort of like a body of potential, and then crystallize out from that potential something that's
Yes.
So that's what we've been working on.
Okay, do you have a lot of subject matter experts that could actually put in the content to that?
So
yet?
I do, actually. Like that's been the somewhat easier part. Is just finding the people that are excited to contribute. I have from the TED Fellows and from the Pop Tech Fellows, I have a number of different people that are working with maker groups around the country. I have some people that want to work with high school students and college students in material science to do this kind of stuff. So basically just like use this as a place to store projects for school. But the real key thing is it is Alchematter is really just a connector of information that already exists.
Okay.
Right? Like for any of the OSE tools, right?
Yeah.
You have,
in particular, let's say the bioplastic extrusion.
Exactly.
So we're interested in particular in bioplastics.
Exactly. So you have a mechanical tool that enables you to extrude filament or whatever. You probably have some processing tools that do maybe digestion or something of the feedstock materials, and then you also have to have some kind of raw material production chain that creates the I don't know what, rapeseed oil or whatever you're going to use for your precursor to the bioplastic, right? You also have some catalysts and things that are like, and the other thing, I mean, the thing that's crazy is that the chain of building that bioplastic is patented and exists, and probably the patent is expired. So the technique is out there, right? But that doesn't mean that anybody's doing it. And part of the reason that nobody's doing it is because you need those 5 things. You need the infrastructure, which is weird digestion vats and stuff that like people have only figured out on a very large scale, and nobody's changed to a small scale. You need a tool to actually like process the plastic from I don't know what, like fluff that it comes out of the digester as, to sort of pellets that you can injection mold or something, or extrude or whatever. And then you need this whole this sort of chemical engineered process that is, you know, take this many molar weight of such and such and this much molar weight of such and mix it together at this temperature for this amount of time, and do this and do that, and you have these successive steps. There's no platform that allows you to describe these procedures in the same way. So the same sort of idea of building a book, building a car, or building molecules of bioplastic, to my mind, they're the same. There's no reason why a platform couldn't describe all of this sort of atomic complication in sequential steps. And then you could graft it all together. So you could have a tool embedded within a procedure that is itself a procedure.
Yeah. Is Alchematter going to actually prototype, say, bioplastics, or no? It's going to report exactly how that's going to work.
So this is a human readable platform. This is not meant to be machine readable. I don't want to remove people from the process, and part of the reason for that is this everybody accessibility idea, right? Like there are some people that have access to machines.
I mean, like if you think of a cooking website, right? If it's a repository of recipes, that's important, that's valuable.
Right.
But if they also make them themselves and say, and we found we're able to level up this recipe this way, and so are you going to make it yourself as well? Is the question.
So there's the Humble Factory will experiment itself and then publish to Alchematter. Other entities will experiment. I hope that Factory Farm will experiment itself and publish to Alchematter. So it's basically this place to have this conversation about what should be made, what can be made. To my mind, that's the real thing that's missing from the open hardware movement, is a place to talk about it where enough different kinds of people are listening that somebody says, well, I really need a glue that I can grow, and somebody comes on who's a chemical engineer who would never has no need for a glue but knows how to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And
so are you coding that up right now? You've got people working on it for you? Are you doing that?
I have not enough resources for that right now, so I really...
What are your needs?
I really could use people. Right now we're developing in Drupal, because we believe in the open source thing as much as far as we can go with it. And so I really need people who can develop new Drupal modules for this. We are also working on one of the things I want to talk to you about, and working with some other nonprofits, is we're working on finding nonprofit partners. This is going to be a sort of weirdly minimally for-profit business because it needs to maintain a community long term, and so I want to make sure that that community's health is not built on the backs of foundations that might come or go.
Crowdfunding.
Or crowdfunding. The difficulty with crowdfunding for me is that right now I don't have anything that looks like it works.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get people on board when you don't have a functional prototype. But I absolutely intend to do to do Kickstarter and kind of like thousand
true fans.
1,000 fans, yeah.
What's let's see. what I want to say. How do people contact you to get involved?
That's a great question. If you're interested in Alchematter particularly, you can go to alchematter.org right now and you can sign up. There's a mailing list that we have a little sign up slip for. If you want